Now, welcome to the first class of the year. And today's props, I've prepared 2 blocks. They might be useful, but aren't essential. One might be enough. Just preparing yourself in that sense for accessibility of some of the shapes. As usual, you could use other things to lean against to work with. Now, when we start lying down, so if you are near the floor, please stay near the ground. And the topic for today's practice, as we all land on the floor, is the idea of yang and yin. So these 2 sides that we have within us, that surround us, and ultimately are reflected in scriptures as well, where we look into the less active part, the more active part, and kind of still dealing with opposites that bring us harmony. So to begin that with, have the blocks nearby, especially if you do have 2, and then come to lie down on your back, placing the soles of the feet onto the floor. I will use the blocks here, but it's not essential. So you might open your knees out to the sides and perhaps place blocks underneath the knees for some gentle support. As I said, for some, these might not be needed, as you could also adjust by bringing your feet further away from your body to make the outward rotation easier, or you could adjust them by bringing the feet further up, for those of you that might like a deeper opening of the hips. The blocks, you can tilt them, you can adjust the height as you might need. And for your hands, either choosing to place them out by your sides, palms facing up, or you might choose to place them yet separately upon your body, so that the hands are out of touch and we kind of maintain the idea of the 2 sides. Now, as you come into this shape of Supta Baddha Konasana, or the reclined bound angle pose, you could also choose to close your eyes. If you find your mind is rather of the yang kind, rather busy, you could also steady your gaze towards the ceiling. And perhaps this way, the mind has another point to focus upon. As you land, feel how the knees are out towards the sides, if that was your choice. And notice perhaps the difference between these 2 sides. Maybe there's one where you're kind of still holding, where you're kind of still a bit active or protective. Perhaps the other side is quite relaxed. Maybe the sides are reasonably even and either challenged or at ease. Notice if there's any little movement that you could do to make this shape more accessible or comfortable. And make a gentle effort to let your shoulders be supported. You might now bring the awareness to the more subtle sensation of your breath. Feeling it entering the nostrils and exiting the nostrils. As the breath comes in and moves out of the nostrils, it might feel very different. The cooler yin aspect, the warmer yang aspect. And yet it's the opposite in the quality of the breath. The inhalation more of a yang nature, more active. The exhalation more relaxing yin aspect of the breath. And perhaps this way we also come to understand that these 2, yang and yin energy, are both very much needed to keep us in balance. You might choose now to deepen the breath and with that the experience of breathing. You might notice that there's now a movement coming more dominantly into your body. You might, as it is the very first class of the year, set an intention for what you might like in your life. Whatever that might be that you would like to invite, let it be a realistic focus. Get something that enriches your life. You might then repeat that silently to yourself 3 times. Of course, as if it has manifested already. After which, you might choose to take a deep breath in and let the belly rise, the ribs expand. Take the breath all the way into your lungs. You might opt to hold the breath for a moment and then sigh it out. Repeating that process twice more, deep breath in through the nose, filling the lungs, perhaps holding the breath, and then an exhalation with a sigh out of the mouth. One more round. Then releasing into your natural breath again. Noticing the way you are positioned. If your knees are still out to the side, please leave them like this. You might come momentarily back into it if it is possible and you have moved out. Before, you might lightly place your fingertips or even the hands behind the head. There's an option here of just sliding along the floor if a lift seems too challenging. If it is possible, lift the head and the shoulders off the ground. Keep your chin looking up. Use the hands behind the head to rest the head into. As you breathe out now, squeeze your right elbow down towards the right knee. Then inhale to center and exhale, draw the left elbow to the left knee. Inhaling center, exhaling right elbow to right knee. Inhale center, exhale left elbow to left knee. Now continue like this, just squeezing into the sides of your waist. As the gaze stays up, the chin in a neutral position so the neck remains long, head supported by the hands. As you move, you can always choose to rest in between. And if the rest is for you, you might still come along, but just sliding the upper body along the floor to come to a similar squeeze into the side of the waist. You might repeat this now for 2 more to each side. And when you have finished these movements, please don't feel rushed by my words. Lower your upper body down, release the arms down, and perhaps use the hands to guide your knees up. Wiggling your feet now far apart so they're touching the outer sides of the mat, and let the knees fall inwards. Instead of the opening on the inside of the legs and pelvis, you might now notice a light opening occurring on the outer side. Perhaps even your back is in a more relaxed position. You might then separate your knees. You could even leave the feet as they are and begin to lightly roll knees from side to side. You could start to turn the head too, same or opposite. And the movement might gradually become bigger. After a while of moving from side to side, potentially you'll rest over one, allowing you to soften into a position, perhaps taking a deep breath, holding if available, and a sigh out. Perhaps now moving head and knees back to center and rolling over to the other side. Taking a deep breath on the other side. Option to hold. And a sigh out. You might then stay on that side and roll the rest of the body onto the side as well. And rising towards a seated position. As you come to a seat, you might like to use one of the blocks. Place it underneath and come to sit. You could now choose to have both feet on the ground, sitting upright and tall. You could choose to extend the legs if the long spine is still possible, or come into easy pose to sit. Resting your hands down comfortably towards your legs or knees. Lifting up tall in the back. And out, best to roll the right ear towards the right shoulder. Perhaps turning the head to look down to the right knee. Then let the head come to center looking down before you lift the head back up tall. Left ear to left shoulder. And perhaps turning the gaze to the left knee. Relaxing head to center and down. And this time perhaps pushing your chin forward and guiding the chin upwards, creating length in the front of the neck. Breathing in deeply, feel the lungs. Breathing out as you center the head. Inhale here. And as you exhale, now actively draw the chin in towards the front of the throat. Make an effort to relax the shoulders down. Then softly inhale to center the head again. On your out breath now, rotate to your favorite side first. Use hands to support. Breathe in to come into center and out to turn towards the other side. Now, as you inhale, come back into center. If you are seated in an easy pose, extending your left leg out long. If your feet are down, do the same. And then keep the right knee bent and place the sole of the foot down onto the floor. Quite comfortable. You can have it closer, a little bit further away, doesn't matter. Flex the foot on the long leg and take a good hold of the knee to pull yourself up. Now keep a hold with the right hand. Place left hand fingertips behind and come towards an open twist. Only if the open twist is for you, Might you explore the other side? If you find this twist is rather challenging, please stay on the open side. If you want to change, reach the arm from behind out to the side and either take the hand or the elbow around your knee. Then place the other hand fingertips behind, draw yourself tall and come to a close twist. You might now roll this knee out towards the side lightly, perhaps even bend the straight leg and gently lean down towards this leg. It doesn't matter how far you go, but keep the foot in a flexion on that extended side. And perhaps there's a stretch behind the leg that you can feel. Take a few breaths, and if it feels good, lengthen on the inhale forward and soften down on the elbows. One more breath here. Then slowly walking the hands back up when completed. Lifting the knee. Let the leg extend. That's the right side now. And step the left foot onto the ground. Same option, could be lazily, could be a little bit closer by. Take both hands to the bent knee, flex the foot on the straight leg, helping you to ground, and breathe in to hold on and straighten the back. Now right hand fingertips behind and an elbows to turn into an open twist. Noticing how the twist feels on the other side. Sometimes it's not so much related to the back, but other parts of the body. Same choice. You may stay here, or you could reach the arm out from behind, bring it across to take a hold with your hand or your elbow of the knee, place the other hand behind, remain tall, and come to a twist. On an in-breath, bring the head forward. Let the knee fall out towards the side. Perhaps bend the straight leg lightly. Turn towards this leg. And on an out-breath, surrender the body forward while you keep your foot in a good flexion to support the stretched area behind the leg. If you find movement is beneficial, breathe in to lengthen yourself a bit forward and then surrender back in towards the forward bend on your elbows. Couple more breaths perhaps. Lengthening forward as you inhale, folding as you exhale. And when you have completed your breath, walk the hands back up towards you and come, if you were coming from an easy pose, into the slightly less comfortable version with the other leg in front. If you had your legs differently, you might place them like that again. Give the shoulders a little movement or wiggle. As we have already explored our two different sides of the body, we will now explore the two sides of the energy channels by using Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. For the classical version, you fold in your index and middle finger. You place the thumb and the ring finger on either side of your nose. Now, if when you start the technique, you notice this is not for you, feels restrictive or slightly too challenging, you can rest the whole hand down, perhaps keep the mudra as an energy seal, but visualize the breath instead. If you like support, you might place the palm of the other hand underneath your elbow, making sure that your head is looking forward so the spine is long. You could now close your eyes or lower your gaze and take a deep breath through both of your nostrils and out of both. Now close the right and inhale through the left nostril. Open the right, close the left, and exhale through the right nostril. Inhaling right. Open left, close right, exhale left nostril. First cycle completed, inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Second cycle completed. Keep going. Inhaling left. Exhaling right. Back in through the right. And exhaling opposite nostril. Keep that flowing. You focus the breath through the nostril. In through one, out the other. And perhaps having harmony within these breaths. So in and out breaths might have a similar length. And if you choose to separate them further, you might add little pauses after in and out breaths to become more aware. Left and right nostril, different qualities. As we started on the left, we're working more with the relaxation response, the yin aspect. If we breathe more through the right, we are in the sun element. And with that, the more active or yang aspect of the breath. Completing one more full cycle after your current one. Resting with eyes low or closed after the exhalation from the left nostril. Perhaps you feel different in your breath. And you might draw the awareness to the sides of the spine. Left side, Ida Nadi, the more yin aspect. Right side, Pingala Nadi, the more yang side. And right in the center of the spine, Sushumna Nadi, our main energy channel. Hence, we sit up tall when we work with movement and breath, shifting energies in the body. You might now blink your eyes open, find that steady gazing point in front. Before you could choose to move with me and find a way of standing at the front side end of the mat. I will turn myself towards you for a better visual. But you might choose to stand with your feet lightly apart at the front side end of the mat. Isn't it interesting? We stand, my shoulders feel very heavy. I'm kind of hanging in the feet and in the pelvis. So let's activate the inner heels and draw them towards each other, feeling how the energy might lift up from the feet into the legs, into the pelvic area, and perhaps even into the lower abdominal region. Now, while you stand here, fix your gaze to a solid spot, whether that's forward in front or down in front of you. You might now take a breath in to raise your right heel or even the right knee. Starting with the balance, you might flex the right foot and either ground the heel down to the floor. Maybe the arms are lifting or extending the leg out in front, finding a giraffe. Lowering the leg as well as the arms back down towards the ground. Lifting the right arm up as you breathe in and finding a side bend over to the other side. The other hand might slide down the side of the leg. And I encourage you to use the feet into the floor. So as if you wanted to lift upwards and then reach a bit further across with your fingertips. Now let's lift the arm back up and center and outburst to release the arm down by the side. Maybe your stance already feels different, but let's reactivate the inner heels to stand more firmly. Keep your steady gazing point, and you might now raise your left heel, or the left knee might come up. See if you can find balance in a steady gaze and in the physical body. And the next option is to raise the arms and either extend the leg forward or land the heel forward onto the ground. Still active, a flexion in the foot, whichever variation you have chosen, and pausing. Your giraffe position, from where you might lower the leg as well as your arms back down. Taking a breath in to raise the left leg up, arm, and an out breath to find your side bend. You might aim for a similar sensation here, pressing the feet against the floor to lift up from the ground and then stretching further over towards the fingertips. Let's raise back up to stand and out to soften the arm down. I will now turn. You can stay exactly where you are, facing the front side end of the mat. We will take a big step back with the right foot and lower the right heel to the floor. Now, ideally, the right heel is a bit further out than the toes, so slightly pitch and toed stands on the back foot. The front knee might stay bent over the ankle, and the hand from behind can rest into the side of the waist. You might start with your forearm resting down. Have the palm of the hand looking upwards, and then start to press against the thigh bone. Stay away from your knee and forward in the direction of the knee, and let that right shoulder roll further back. So we're supporting by pressing down and forward, helping us to rotate the upper body. Yet the feet stay grounded, and especially the arch of the back foot is active. Your choice is to remain here or to extend the arm from the side of the waist to the ceiling. Take a little note of these opposite energies. Do you feel rather heavy or do you feel still light? If there's a sense of lightness, you might extend your arm over the head, changing the palm to face down, but keeping your shoulder back. Now start on your next inhale to push into the ball of the front foot while you extend the front leg and your arm downwards. If you now notice your upper arm becomes too heavy, you might bring that back into the side of the waist. We have now changed into triangle pose, and you might change slightly your approach by bringing the back of your hand against your inner front leg and the leg against the hand. helping you to stay long in the spine and open across the shoulder girdle. Let's take a breath in to bend the front and the back knee and release the hands down to the ground. You might raise your back heel and place the knee to the floor. You could bring the other knee down onto the ground as well and take a big out breath from here into a cat. Inhale could be a neutral spine or a back bend by lifting tail and gaze. And out breath to round. You might stay with the movement of Vidalasana or cat and cow for a few breaths. You could even change your exhalation to let that come out from your mouth. As your next inhale, find a neutral spine. And you might like to stay here on all fours. Some of you might prefer tucking toes under, leaning forward, and then rolling the spine up for a down dog. I will choose to stay here. And as your next inhale, could you raise your right leg up? For the out breath, aim with your knee forward and perhaps even help your foot towards the front. Now I will change for better visual, but you might stay facing the front side end of your mat. Now here are several options. I would ask you if you like to use the blocks on either side, and you could choose to leave the back knee on the floor or tuck the toes under and raise the knee off the mat. Your choice. Sliding the right hand into the side of the waist. And on the inhale, rolling the right shoulder back as you come into a twist. Now, those of you who've got the back leg off the floor, you might even aim to ground the heel down far behind your toes. Let's all roll the shoulder back in, perhaps both hands on the floor, or even coming onto high sitting blocks. Take a little step forward with the back foot and come to a good hip distance stance between your feet. Press more into ball of front foot and lengthen your spine forward. You might slide the right hand back into the side of the waist and perhaps even open the right shoulder again. This is a revolved triangular shape. And you could, if your breath was still flowing reasonably, extend your right arm towards the ceiling. But keep moving your feet against the floor. Then roll the shoulder back down, release the hands back down, step the foot forward, surrendering all the way down into standing forward fold. And out breath to uncurl the spine. Shoulders might lift and gently shrug down. We're standing again at the front side of the mat. Taking a big step back with the left foot. The same here, ground the heel down, but leave your toes slightly turned forward. Front knee is bent over the ankle, and you might slide the back hand up to the side of the waist. The forearm at the front might come to rest onto the mid-thigh. Keep it back and away from your knee joint. And then push down into the thigh and forward, and let your top shoulder roll further back. Staying grounded with the lift, especially in the arch of your back foot. Option for those with healthy shoulders. Might lift your left arm towards the ceiling, or even reach it over the head. The palm of the hand is looking downward. You might keep everything as is while you breathe in and push down into the ball of the front foot to straighten the front leg and the lower arm. If now your upper arm feels heavy, you might bring it back into the side of the waist. Keep pushing down into the ball of the front foot and encourage back of hand and inner leg against each other to maintain your upper body position. Trikonasana, triangle pose. On the inhale now, soften the knees and release your hands back down to the mat. You might raise the back knee off the floor, bring the knee down or leave it off the mat, your choice, as we step to kneeling or a full plank. Hold yourself strong in upper body, draw the tail towards your heels. And with the exhale, keep your elbows bent and aim to land on your belly. Forehead might rest down too. Encouraging the tops of the feet into the floor. And then a breath in to lift the head and the chest for Bhujangasana or Cobra. Your choice is to keep the hands on the ground, elbows are closed, shoulders are down. You might even lift a bit higher, or you could choose to engage back muscles more and lift the hands off the floor. Whichever position you choose, hold, breathe. Need to relax earlier, do so. Next, out breath, soften down back into the mat. The in breath pushing the floor away, and the out breath to reach with your buttocks in the direction of the heels or softly extended child's pose. You might add some wiggles here through the shoulders, through the pelvis. And from here, inhale to all fours. You prefer down dog, draw toes under and roll up to down dog with an out breath. As you find your length here and support, breathe in to raise the left leg. An out breath to bring the knee forward, help or land the foot forward. Now I will change my visual again. And will bring my blocks back in to assist. This is optional, of course. You bring now perhaps the left hand into the side of the waist and take an inhale to open the left shoulder. You might have your back knee on the floor or off the mat. And if the knee is off the floor, you might actually ground the heel down, but keep it far back behind your toes. Then slowly release the hands, lift the back heel again. Now I will bring my blocks up to a higher setting, and then we'll all shorten the stance to about 1 meter between front and back foot, and maintain a hip distance with the back toes diagonally turned forward. Now the hands might support on the leg, on the blocks, as you lengthen the whole spine forward. Pressure down into ball of front foot, and perhaps the left hand back into the side of the waist. And as you inhale, that left shoulder might roll back. You could keep your gaze here, or even choose to extend the arm. Revolved triangle or Parivrita Trikonasana. Keep using your feet rather than collapsing into the hips and lower back, as if the floor was pushed away. One more breath in. Then release not only your arms, but the feet to the front and soften down into your standing forward fold. An in-breath to lift up through the spine. And an out-breath to bring both knees down, and perhaps, if available, even sitting onto the heels. Keep the neck long, the spine long. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and then have a soft sigh out to relax, before you might choose to either bring your hands to hold onto your heels, or have the hands sitting by the side with your elbows snug into the side. Now tuck the chin into the throat and gently place the head down reasonably close towards your knees. You may stay here if this is low enough for your head, or you might take a breath and lift the hips up into the air, coming to stand on the top of the head. This is Sasangasana in its supported or held version. You might notice that the energy flow is reversed, and you might feel that the active part is now more towards the head, the brain. On the next out breath, let your bottom sink back to the heels. You might let go of your heels as well, or gently even bring your arms down, perhaps the hands a bit further forward with fists and stacking fists. And you might now place the forehead upon your stacked fists. Leave the shoulders easy. Reason behind here is lifting the head to the height of the heart. And if there's any tension in the neck, you might carefully roll the forehead over the fist to turn the head from side to side. As you come back here to center, release the hands down, and an out breath to uncurl the spine to sit. For our forward fold from here, I will use a folded blanket. You might use a rolled up end of the mat instead, or a cushion. And coming to sit upon, extending the legs out towards the sides. As you could place your hands down here in front or by the sides, whichever is more supportive of your upright seated position. Flex the feet again so the toes are looking upwards. And use your hands into the mat just to sit up tall. You might lower your gaze now or close the eyes and sit. Notice the sensation that you feel here. Wide-legged seat. Perhaps there's also sensations of lengthening happening already. Backs of the legs, inner thighs, around the pelvis and hips. Aware of what is going on, you might start to shift a bit from side to side while you're starting to lean forward. Your hands, if that's comfortable, can change in between the legs. You might also choose to bend your knees. There will be a place where you have a feeling that leaning further forward is currently not available. You might stay at that spot, be content with where you are, where you could still keep swaying to create more space for yourself, or you could simply come to pause and surrender to the pose, which also might create more space. Keep the feet in a flexion. and start to lengthen your exhalations. Perhaps there is the qualities of the mind in relation to that aspect of yang and yin. There's often a strong resistance towards this shape because of the way we perceive our bodies. Yet this is not about actually leaning somewhere in particular. It is to explore the sensations that arise and perhaps providing the body with a little bit more space. So while you might keep a light yang approach and softly move, you could also surrender to it, relax into it, the more yin aspect or approach. Perhaps it's a mixture of both, as they could complement each other. Now beginning to walk the hands back up towards yourself and return to a seat. Maybe bending the knees and helping the feet down onto the mat. I will come off my sitting support. You might like to do the same. And as it was the blanket, I will bring it there where the head might be. I recommend to keep one block sitting by the side of your mat, as you could gently roll down onto your back. Placing your feet down once you have landed, the toes looking forward, about hip distance between your feet and knees. And it's up to you how far you walk the feet up to the buttocks, where your knees are still feeling comfortable and supported. Your arms are long down by the sides, the palms are touching the mat. And as you breathe in, just tilt your pelvis so the spine comes down to the ground, and perhaps a little lift of the pelvis. On the out breath, roll the spine back down, relax it into comfort. We'll repeat. So for the inhale, flatten the spine down, lifting the hips by engaging the buttocks muscles. And on the out breath, slowly rolling back down, releasing the spine to comfort. Repeat that a few times. Your range of movement here may change, or you might keep the movement quite low, because this is what your back or body needs right now. That yin approach towards, the yang approach, towards the bridge, or Setabandha Savasana. We keep it moving. Now, if you're very yin still, you might start to lift your arms or even bring them up over the head as you lift the hips, and release them back by the sides as you're rolling down. Only an option for those that would like to remain more active in their approach. Others might, on the next lift, hold the hips up, take their block and place it flat or halfway up directly underneath the sacrum. You would like to make sure that the moving vertebrae are actually off the block. It's the very end of the spine that's resting on it. If you shuffle the block a few times, you might find that comfortable spot. Whether you're moving still, you're holding in the air, or you're using the block, there is that option of raising the arms and resting them down behind the head, or leaving them on the sides of your body. If you have chosen to leave the hips up in the air, draw the tailbone actively towards the backs of the knees, and keep breathing no matter your choice. Can you feel movement of energy no matter which variation you have chosen? So if you're on a block right now, lift the hips up and return your arms by your sides. Then remove the block and slowly roll the spine onto the mat. Take at least one full breath in and out before you decide whether you need some movement. If there's movement needed, you might lightly act upon it, such as a gentle movement of twisting, perhaps. Before you can choose constructive rest, one option, feet wide, knees falling in together, or Shavasana, legs extended onto the mat or over a bolster, with the legs rolling outwards, the toes turning away from each other. In both variations, constructive rest and Shavasana, you might actively bring the shoulders into a good restful place, supported by the mat. If possible, leave the arms out to the sides, the palms looking upwards, and even the upper arms ever so slightly away from the sides of the body or your rib cage. Let's breathe in deeply, right from the belly up to the tops of the lung. Hold if possible. And let the sigh come out to relax. Enough, a rest, or add 2 more. Deep breaths in, an optional hold, and a sigh out. Maybe there's a last one here. As you might then come into the stillness, a restful body. You could bring back to mind the intention that you set. And perhaps silently repeating it to yourself 3 times. Where you could then choose to rest with your breath, or take a gentle moment to become aware once more of the body resting on the surface beneath. These points where the body is quite significantly touching your surface could be your perch, to which you can rest your attention. A physical sensation as a focal point. If you like to stay here lying for this meditation, please do. If you need to be seated, you could choose that at any time. The following meditation is about kindness and compassion. And a gentle intention not to interrupt or cut off your own experience, to see all the possibilities. You might practice kindness to your thoughts by listening to them. You might practice compassion to your body by feeling sensation. Sometimes kindness means you let thoughts and sensations continue. Other times it means bringing your attention back to the purge. You decide. This might develop your own sense of responsibility, as well as a more nuanced and intimate understanding of what it is like to be you. So set the gentle intention of being receptive and kind toward your unfolding experience throughout this meditation. Inevitably, your attention will leave its purge and explore other sensations, sounds, thoughts, and feelings. Whatever happens during this time, you're open to it. If you feel lost or overwhelmed, you can return to the purge, the sensation of the body touching the surface. And keep your attention there until it feels okay. Let the attention fly off to explore other experiences. I will leave you with this for a few minutes. So returning your attention to the purge. Sif says, by letting your life into your meditation practice, we allow our meditation to develop our life. You might choose to deepen your breathing again. Perhaps Coming back more deeply into the body by moving or stretching. And eventually you might roll to your side or rise over the front to join me seated. From where you could stay in contact by resting one hand onto your power center, upper abdomen, and one hand to heart center. Perhaps these ideas of observation, our yang and yin aspects, knowing that they complement to find balance, and that we can create our lives, is also a reminder that we stand in our power and can at all times be connected to love. From this place, we might choose to bow and extend toward each other. Namaste.